The question I have for the universe today, do I have enough time, I think I got like 40 minutes, to make a video? Let's put it to the test, shall we? So, let's, this could be a suicidal idea. I just made a mention about time, and I think I'm gonna try to play a deck that uses Sphinx's tutelage as the win con, but it's one I really want to do. No, what I should do instead is do one of the red decks. That's what I should do with the time. I think I already skipped one of them, so we can do that. Let's see here. So, Steam Showdown. We're still going through and trying to find, well, not find, but just test out the decks. See which decks might do better in testing than I thought they would. I gave each one a paper grade on my blog, trying to decide which ones should be really competitive. And now I'm going through and actually playing with them, because it's one thing to see a deck on paper or on your screen, which is about the only way I see decks anymore. And it's another way to, it's a totally different thing entirely to take it out, play it, and see how it does. So let's mess with Bo, B-O-H. Let's mess with his red aggro deck here. He's got some interesting numbers. Never takes long. If I come online, Gemini has messages for me, but it's gonna have to wait. It's got some weird numbers, plenty of 3-ofs, a little indecisive on his 2-drops on what is best, and you know, that makes sense because each of them probably has their situations. And there is a bit to the deck building theory, using a lot of 2-ofs and 3-ofs. When one card is better for one situation, the other is better for another. But you can avoid that awkward situation where you have 2 cards that aren't great for the situation in your hand at the same time. But if one does one thing and the other does the other thing, it's more likely you'll get, results. I don't know if that made sense. I think so. I mean, I get what I'm trying to say. Just messing. All right. 19. And I'm still missing something. What'd I miss? 2 Thopter Engineer? Yeah, I missed those. Wait, nope. You are not welcome, Mr. Mongrel. Stay. Nope. Why is this happening? There we go. The brown land. It's like an assault of the brown lands here. Is that 3 foundries, 2 passage? Yep, that's what it is. Alright. We're gonna spin this for fun. And, let me check my messages. Maybe Gemini just wants to play. And, shoot. Don't have Smart Glass all queued up, so can't even check that right now. Timeout. Okay. Looks like that was an older message, unless I just now received it. Whatever. Weirdness and bad manners. The YouTube audience. I don't have a ton of viewers on YouTube, but I have some people who really like it, and they do have to put up with me talking to Twitch, checking my Xbox Live messages, getting all distracted. I hope it's not too much of a burden. So, red aggro, I still think it's one of the best decks you can play. It's one of the only decks that has a matchup with ramp that isn't terrible, against a good ramp deck, you're still going to lose sometimes, but I think with the right build of red, you can take like 60%, 50 to 60% from ramp, which is definitely a top tier deck. And out there in the universe, if you have like a 50 to 60% matchup with the best decks in the format, that makes you a best deck in the format. You don't have to smash it and never ever lose to it, but you have to be able to win a good match. A 60-40 means that most of the time when you play best 2 out of 3, you're going to win. So That's where I think red is. That's why I think it's still a tier 1 deck. I've had some people disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I'm also curious in this deck if the brown lands, meaning Foundry, the Consuls, and Rogues Passage, end up costing some games. And we already see that we need to draw another red, or this hand is a little awkward. And if we draw another brown land, that'll be a big negative. So, there's 17 mountains in the deck. The odds aren't that great of just top decking one every turn, about 1 in 4, 1 in 5. So, this could be ugly if we don't draw one. But let's see what happens. Our opponent's opening up with some red-green and a Perilous Mirror, which is a bit of a nemesis for this deck. And one of the reasons I think that this deck got better after Origins, after Battle for Zendikar came out, is a lot less Perilous Mirrors. Now, I'm not going to put the other creature out because I don't want the Perilous Mirror to trade with it, but he's smart. He's not going to block. That's the right thing to do. And now we're in a, now we can just try to force the Perilous Mirror to trade with just our Majoring Bully next turn. But trying to give up only a 1-for-1 trade with Perilous Mirror in this deck is a little tricky. Well, and now well, that's a 2-for-2 at least. Bone Splinters and Perilous Mirror, 2 cards, 2 cards. I'll take it. And it looks like we're playing some kind of a Jund control list, which was also really popular back in Origins. And one of the things that kind of kept red decks down was this whole Perilous Mirror, Bone Splinters, and a bunch of little dorks. And still no land. The third Majoring Bully. How about that? Now I'm not going to get too upset because that wasn't the land, but it got us closer to the land. If we draw it next turn, it's because we played Abbott. So, nothing to get too angry about. I haven't checked let's check the video and make sure I'm not stuttering. All good. It seems like that happened to me one time where my video feed was coming through all stuttery and jerky, and since then it hasn't happened, but I'm just paranoid it will. It's kind of annoying. Now I have to check it every single time. And our opponent is just rolling. This does feel like that Origins kind of control style deck. 1, 2. Well, this will get us through, or he'll chump block. If he chumps blocks, yeah, let me do it. Why not? Bloodlust does replace itself. And if he doesn't chump block, maybe we can draw the mountain and get through next turn. But this game's going really badly. We are playing, is that right, 23 lands. So this getting permanently stuck on land like it feels like we are shouldn't be happening very as commonly as it does with like 20 land and 21 land red decks. But still, let's see, 21 lands in the deck is still about a 50-50 chance of drawing one, and I think we've seen 4 cards off the top. We should have 2 more lands by now. Okay, I mean, that's a play. I think that's a bad play. I don't like that at all. I think you chump block for 1 more turn, and if I play another creature, you get to do the Bone Splinters thing. So I think our opponent's, I don't know, a little too trigger happy. I guess he really wants to attack me with a Gravedigger. I can't get behind this. He's down to 2 cards, and we have a full grip. If we draw lands, we're right back in this. Hello. Alright, so we've seen 2 Bone Splinters, and we've seen Perilous Mirror. We don't have a lot of means to flip Chandra, but I think we run it out there. If there's any more removal, Chandra will eat it. If we draw a land, we can flip her. No matter what, she comes out with a big target on her head, so our opponent, if they have another Bone Splinters, will just probably pitch Gravedigger to use it. Oh, hey, complete disregard. Interesting choice. So, yeah, this is the kind of deck I would wish I would playing Ramp right now, because Ramp just steps all over decks that try to do this nowadays. But Xbox meta hasn't really changed. People just kind of play what they want and hope for the best. 1 card left. So what we're going to do this turn is bully Bloodlust. And if he plays that 1 last card to deal with it somehow, then Dragon can come out next turn. Or Dragon will just try to dump our hand before we do it, but we'll see what happens. I think this is the good play for today. Kabam. So, yeah, we got kind of mana messed up for several turns. Then we've drawn 2 in a row, and we're way ahead on card advantage in this game. I don't think our opponent really picked the... You know, every Bone Splinters was a 1-for-1 trade. And in one case, it wasn't even a 2-for-1. It was a 1-for-2 trade, because we got to replace our Bloodlust off the Abbot. So, I don't think they're really making good choices. Make good choices, kids, on how you use your removal spells. Hey, look, Acid Moss. That doesn't bother me. Oh, and there's the last Bone Splinters, and he didn't even attack first. You gotta attack first, right? I mean, that's some more Magic 101. Get your damage in, then sack your creature. Boom, mountain. Means we don't care. How do you like me now? Could have spiked the dragon. I think I'm just going to try to get more from the cards in my hand before we cast dragon. We might even be able to win the game without it. Like, if he doesn't deal with this with a top deck next turn, it's just over. Kind of showing a lot of infectious Bloodlust power. And this is why it's good when you have the mana to cast another creature and then cast the Bloodlust. Oh, hello. We got us a Hydra. It's a good top deck, but not good enough. How you like me now? Bam. Yeah. So, awkward land draw, pretty light on lands, and we still overcame all the Jund, Triple Bone Splinter, Perilous Mirror Gravedigger shenaniganry, and took it. Brutal. I am the champion of Dragon Skull Summit. I don't know if you knew that. I'm gonna get a title belt created. I'm going to wave said title belt in everyone's face. Champion of Dragon Skull Summit. Don't know if you know. If you don't know, now you know. Alright, so let's go for another. I'm trying to remember. I believe that Bo played against a Sultai control deck. I think he played against Light, if I've got that right, in round 1 of the Steam Showdown. And again, this is off the top of my head. I'm not reading the standings over here, so if I make a mistake, it's a mistake. But I believe this red deck we played just steamrolled that Sultai control deck. Just bam. If I'm thinking of the right video, I definitely watched a mono red deck steamroll the Sultai control deck, and it was on the play both games. It was nastiness. If you're interested in tournaments like the Steam Showdown that's going on, or future Xbox tournaments, you should stay tuned to No Goblins Allowed, the homepage. It seems like they're always trying to get a tournament going. I know right now, I believe Gemini is taking signups for a double elimination tournament, and that should be on the duels page of No Goblins Allowed. So if you are interested in playing some competitive duels, then get yourself over there. Check it out, because it would be great to build more competition around this game. When I see just what's happened to Hearthstone in the last few years, while Duels was out, before Hearthstone, it's been a product on the market for a while. But when I see where Hearthstone has gone, I'm like, Magic, what are you doing? You're missing the boat. You should have tournaments. You should have a tournament mode. You should put real work into this product. Because I know I love playing this game, and I don't win anything most of the time. I win a lot of gold. But man, would I love to play it more competitively. And yeah, that's a good hand. The problem is being on the draw. And we've got only one answer. Being on the draw, you like to have answers, but I think we can try it. Alright, that's a good draw. So now if he has a turn 2 play, we can totally flip the tempo. Fiery Impulse his critter, get out our Slide Runner, get to work. And it doesn't look like we've got anything. Nope. So we'll just have to save that for another day. Slide Runner! I bet we get a Reave Soul Disregard. shenanigans. But let's put it to the test. Nothing. Okay, I don't believe there is a single instant speed removal that can interact with us this turn. So I'm going to take this turn and take the opportunity to punch him, to just, you know, level a massive face punch. And we're going to tempt Fog with our Titan Strength. Sure. Sort of want another land, but especially like a Rogue's Passage, but it's okay. And our opponent is a rank 40, and they're mana screwed. It's kind of sad. Maybe it's a ramp deck, and he needed to top deck one land, and he could cast like Nissa's Pilgrimage. But it's sad. You don't get to play another rank 40 every day, and when you do, you're like, please, let's have a good game. Oh, well, my opinion just changed, because I think that Wild Size is a horrible card. They just like, anybody have that rank 40? No, I'm just messing. I hope my opponent, you know. I always have to play as if my opponent can also hear me, because sometimes they can when you're a Twitcher and a writer, so. I mean no intense disrespect. I just don't like Wild Size. Really hoping to hit a land off that Abbot. Didn't work out. That's okay. It looks like he's an elf deck, most likely. I mean, obviously Thornbow is a tell. Let's get rid of that. I'd rather use all my mana than worry about a prowess trigger. And we're going to win with the Twin Bolt anyway. Boom. Could be a Fog. So we'll let damage happen. Damage happens. Twin Bolt. Ba-boom. Look how good the deck is when the opponent only has 2 lands. What's that? All Polish players play Wild Size? Just kidding, Yonder. Yonder says all polished players play Wild Size. I'm just, I guess I'm making a Polish joke. Which also, you know, I blame that on the town I grew up in, which has a high Polish occupancy and heritage, and even has a Polish festival every August. Alright, next up. You called me Polish, says Yonder. Hey, I don't know where you're from. I don't know. I could be totally right. I don't think Yonder has like Wild Size in his tournament deck. Not that I recall. Which I don't know if I've run his deck. I don't think I have. Still have yet to get to him. I think he's doing that Converge Simic tempo, if I remember correctly. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Well, there's all our lands. No. And no. I guess. I mean, both those hands were pretty bad, and I don't really want to go lower. If we draw land, then it's a good. If we draw a land, it would have been another mulligan. If we don't, it probably would be a keep. Like any other spell added to this hand, I think makes it a keep. I can't think of a spell that doesn't. Come on, buddy. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? All right. Bad hand. Oh well. We're gonna be relying on Birdie here. Caca, caca, caca. I don't know if anybody out there watches Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I just watched the most recent one where Charlie Day is an expert in bird law. Just in a courtroom, and he specializes in bird law. And I just keep thinking of, you know, how knowledgeable one might be about the Firebird Caw-caw, caw-caw. If you don't watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I think you have to get any jokes I would even, or any references whatsoever that I could make, so I won't even try to describe it. I'm just gonna say it's funny. It should be retitled to It's Always Funny in Philadelphia. Here comes my tutu. We're definitely not just gonna cast this. No how, no way. He'll just get burned. And our opponent is... I don't know what they're doing. Blue, white, red, black, red. So we've got at least 4 of the 5 colors of the rainbow, and no green, which is arguably the color that most people use the most of. It's an odd spot. I think I smell a spell shrivel. And he missed a land drop. So what I'm going to do is just attack. I'm actually not going to go for anything until we get those lands tapped. Here comes something. Disperse. Yeah, that's fine. Don't need to sack it in response or do anything foolish, but now we get to resolve Pia Kirin. But bam. How you like me now? So that forces like a Radiant Flames, maybe a Twin Bolt, something like that. Hey, there's the Radiant Flames. Now, the real question here is, do I want to resolve Firebird? Or do I want to resolve Ember Hauler with Bloodlust with Titan Strength? It might be the best time to take a stab with something like that. He's at 18. Does Firebird get him to tap out again? I don't know. I could also, if I want to get my Titan Strength in, I can use it on Firebird. So I think that's the play. The other, saving this play gives us more options in general. Oh yes. Oh, I choose to keep you, Chandra. We will always be together. Chandra will always be my baby. Tap land, good. Not fear and disperse. Easily the worst thing would be a complete disregard. And I don't want to move in pre-combat with any of this stuff into open mana. Let's force the opponent to react to us. Boom. Cool. And, I still smell Spell Shrivel. Just gonna pass. They've been missing land drops. We're making progress. Giving them time actually doesn't punish us too badly. I mean, what are they going to resolve? What are they going to do with more lands given a lot of time that they're not already struggling to do? That's part of the problems here. The, Oop, there we go. That's one of the problems in this format for control decks is most of their spells are expensive. Obviously, an exception to that is Fiery Impulse. So we're gonna fire off this twin. Why didn't it let me do anything? It totally skipped my turn, or my priority. I was trying to twin bolt for. Wow, that was weird. But yeah, we have this play, which is brutal. I mean, what's he gonna do? You can throw all the control cards he wants at it. Every land is gonna be a Firebird, and now we're gonna have resources to throw a lot of things at them. Ha! The more Polish players. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember my quote now. Thanks, Yonder. I quoted that Yonder is a more polished player. He took care of business. He was against Lionheart. It must have been, I think. And yeah, that guy's obviously got he's a little new. You know what I mean? But took care of business. That's what we're going for. All right. So let's draw that counter spell, shall we? How's it gonna be? The threat pacing that we want to do is we just want to always be forcing him to do something about us. Every turn. And right there, it's kind of like we gained 4 mana, because he didn't use any of his mana on my turn or his turn. So that's a plus 4 mana, and hopefully this turn we'll cast this and we'll get priority. That was really lame that it skipped us before. Okay, you got it, and you're tapped out. I love it. Alright, this is gonna be fun. Is he conceding? He should. This is gonna be nasty. Oh, we're gonna get the hit in, and because we've already dealt 4 damage with Chandra, we're gonna flip it right after we untap for this Glory Chaser. It's gonna do 1 more, then it's gonna trigger, and that's gonna be game. So we're gonna do 7 damage with Chandra the turn we play her. And that's why control decks have a tough go in this meta. They tap out for a second, and we do things like that. Yeah. What can you say, dude? You tapped out. If you're gonna tap out, I'm gonna punish you and just light you ablaze. Bam. That was 3 games, so I may have to end this any minute if I'm gonna accompany my wife into town, but I'll try to get 1 more. If we get 1 quick, then we're good. Oh, red, red, red. And Chandra especially. It's just hard to argue with that. Now, imagine if we didn't have the rarity restrictions and we actually got to play with 4 Chandras and try to build decks around flipping Chandra. I think that would be so much fun. It hasn't really taken off in standard or anything like that because it is 3 mana for a 2/2 that does nothing the turn it comes into play. But man, duels, it could be so much fun to be flipping Chandras every game. Just flipping them Chandras like hotcakes. What other decks? Another day I'm gonna do Ophic OPHC. I don't know how he says his name. Deucix. I don't know. But he's got a Turbo Fog deck that I'm eager to try out. I was going to try it out today, but it would take too long. We're going to try Grimrick's Jund deck, which I gave a very bad grade to, but I do really want to test because I want to find out if I was wrong to give him such a bad grade. GTFL has a really cool like 4-color ramp deck that I think is good. There's a new edition, Spawn Shady, I don't know. But he's got a Jund Aristocrats deck that looks pretty solid. So there's still a lot to go through. Light has a Sultai control deck I'm interested in trying out. There's a 4-color control deck I want to try out. But today we just need to do something and do it quick, so we're doing it red. I always struggle with this decision of Foundry Street or Glory Chaser on turn 1, and I think most of the time the right play is Foundry Street. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. Yeah, we'll go for it that way. I think it's usually right, but it's always a struggle for me. I always have to kind of next level myself mentally over what my opponent's going to open with. Not a Jotty offshoot, not a Jotty offshoot, not a Jotty offshoot. Yay. Now, I love mana efficiency, but it's probably right to get the Glory Chaser out on turn 2. Because we want to get in with that really soon. And, you know, Ember Hauler, we can play it with a mana up, activating, get 2 damage out of it if he goes for removal. Although that's, you know, it's kind of a minor point, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Things happen. One could argue I should have played Rogue's Passage that turn, planning to play Abbot next turn, and then if I play Abbot next turn and I top deck a 1-mana spell, I can play the Mountain to cast it. Little things. Yeah, watch them damage effects. I love it. So yeah, this will be the last game. And we'll see how fast we can... look, more Jund. We'll see how fast we can run this one down. And it's a Gate Creeper. Okay, cool. Sad thing about Gate Creeper is I actually do have to deal with it if I want to turn my Glory Chaser, Renown, and Menacing. I don't really like having to deal with something as stupid as a Gate Creeper, but that's the way it goes. So, what do I do? Do I Ember Haul it? I think I do. I think that's the right play. Save the Abbot for later, and like the most likely cards on our deck is a 2-drop or a land. So if I save Abbot to where I can play a 2-drop or a land, it's very likely I'll hit something with it. But I would love something explosive. Probably the best thing I could reveal off Abbot next turn is an Infectious Bloodlust. Something very explosive preferred. And of course it depends what our opponent wants to do with their turn after Gate Creeping, getting their creep on. They want to touch the Void. Yep, don't we all? Don't we all want to touch the Void? So that was, you know, I mean, it's 3 mana for a 1-mana creature. I did kind of make a sacrifice to get it renowned. So it's not that bad of a play for him. Oh, come on. I don't know why I'm getting all this lag all of a sudden. I asked the controller to make things happen. It doesn't. What'd I get? What'd I get? Oh, did I call it? I called it. This is the key, you know, if you like winning at Magic, you just have to say exactly what the luckiest thing that you want is and then make it happen. Alrighty, Ka-smash. This is going to be a hard one for our foe to get out of. Down to 8. So answer the board or die. Will it be Languish? Will it be Radiant Flames? And even if it is, he'll still be in trouble, but he just doesn't know it. You gotta do what you can with what you got. That's the rule. Maybe this guy will do Perilous Mirror, Bone Splinters, like the first person we played today. Firecraft. Yeah, it's a thing. It's not a good enough thing. That revealing a Bloodlust was just, like I said, probably the best thing that could have happened in the whole deck. It happened. Love it when it works out that way. Feel bad for the opponents. I'm pressing the button. Thank you. My goodness. So laggy. It's only when I want to leave the house, you know, when I'm in a hurry to go somewhere, and when my wife is waiting for me. The lag strikes. Attack. Please attack. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to start winding this one down because right after this stream ends, I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to head out the door. So thanks everybody for watching, hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed a bit of Bo's Red Deck, and I will definitely be back tomorrow. Try to do some more videos for you guys. Showcase some more of the Steam decks that I think are really cool. Don't even need it. Nope, not even gonna pull it. Don't care. Come on. All you gotta do is pass me the turn. Do-doom. 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 Do-doo. Boosh. Is he conceding or am I lagging? I don't know. Doesn't matter no more. Alright, everybody. As soon as I collect them gold coins, I'm out of here. Mic drop. Laters.